Hello and welcome. My name is Tom Shima, and today is Wednesday, July 29th. Last time on Persona A Day, the daytime afternoon track practice is continued. We've got that meet coming up this weekend, and the team and I all met again to continue our training. After that wrapped up, I headed back to the dorm, checked in with the team, and we once again agreed that it was another great night to spend the dark hour in Tartarus. We've been making a lot of solid progress recently, and we all wanted that to continue. We faced 2 consecutive floors of Guardian Shadow parties that were well coordinated, but we managed to overcome those. We found that Monad Passage that had been talked about by Elizabeth. That was also full of some challenging fights, but some good treasure at the end. It was nice to make it through there. And we climbed up to floor 92 and found that that was the barrier floor for this section. So we have officially covered as much ground as we can until the tower once again changes. It was a good stopping point, considering our progress, and the dark hour was coming to a close. So it was nice to just see that progress and return to the dorm to rest up. That brings us on into today, and we'll see how that goes on today's episode of Persona A Day. Okay, so here we are. As we've seen a lot this past week, this is the ending of the previous night during the dark hour in Tartarus. It was a really good night. I said as much yesterday, but I'm going to say it again because I still feel that way. You can kind of see here, we all gained some really solid level progress. I'm up to 35, Fuka is as well. Got a couple 34s here in Junpei and Akihiko. So our average level is right around that 32 range, which I think is about where everybody else had been. We've made it to floor 92, which is the barrier floor, so there's no further we can climb. We overcame that Monad Passage, which had some stronger shadows in it, like I said, and those fights were tough. All of the fights yesterday really felt a little bit harder because they were all higher level encounters. They weren't just the rank and file shadows that we normally fight. And those enemy parties also worked really well together. They buffed each other up. They debuffed our party. They really did a great job targeting our weaknesses and following up on that from one to the next, which really called for more healing. I was so glad Yukari was along for the party last night. Same with Fuka. She really came in so helpful in analyzing shadows and using that Sylphid Aura buff to keep us on our feet before the fight even started. So it really called for a lot of adapting to things, which is just what this game calls for. And it was so nice to feel like the team was capable of rising to that challenge. At the end of that Monad Passage, we found a couple pieces of weapon ingredients that we can use at the antique store to potentially make some new weapons and armor. We found a tarot card, which can show up during shuffle time from now on. It was the Temperance card. It was just really good there. We climbed to floor 92, which, like I said, was the barrier floor. We found old document number 4 there, which completed a request for Elizabeth. And she paid 40,000 yen for that, so that was really cool. I didn't end up fusing any new persona because I've got a good group with me right now. And I don't really need to change anything out. We've still got, it'll be 8 days once we get into today before the full moon. I don't need to make anything new. I could, but, as far as, social interactions go, there aren't as many available right now, especially considering the afternoon track practices. So I'll kind of look at fusing some new personas once it's more necessary, rather than just something to do. I don't want to fuse away something good and then have to resummon something with, I want to say limited funds, but I've got 111,000 yen, so I'm not really hurting for money right now. We did gear up the party the other day too, which is really nice. So other than stopping by the antique store to see if I can change out or make any new weapons or armor, I think we should be pretty good for the full moon. As far as, updates and things go, that was just kind of the quick rundown of yesterday. But this was where yesterday ended, so let's wrap it up here and move into today. So yes, here we are, ending Tuesday, coming into Wednesday the 29th. The special training for track and field continues today, too. It's kind of wild to think that summer break officially started this week. We finished off our exams. We had that little trip to Yakushima, which was a lot of fun. But we got back and we saw our exam results, and that was, then the closing ceremony is back on Saturday. And so our summer break starts now and goes through the end of August, really. But I was just going to say, it felt like we're going to have so much time because it's summer. But so far this week, we've had a fairly structured day of track practice during the daytime hours. But that is really nice as well, to have that chance to spend time with the team as a proper member of the team, getting ready for this meet on Sunday. Sounds like there's going to be a lot of high-level competition there, so it's nice to have that chance to do what we can now to be as ready for that as we can and put our best foot forward to show what we're capable of. But that practice continues today. It's about time to leave. Kikukan High School practice field. We trained all day to prepare for the competition on August 2nd.
You're almost there! Keep up the pace!
Yeah. So glad to see Yuko and Miyamoto and the advisor there, just, keeping us all in line, helping us out where it's needed.
This is our year! Highest has got nothing on us!
We've got this, yeah. Again, I kind of commented on it the other day too, but Yuko was kind of cheering us on, and we spent some time together on Saturday with her as we were training those elementary schoolers for their race, and we were talking about the motivational side of things and the right mindset leading to success. So it's kind of cool to see her leaning into that here, almost like what we talked about is being directly applied for the high school team this week. It was very fun and very fitting, and it really fits well kind of getting to see that in real time this past Saturday, transitioning into this week of training. Kind of expected to get one more little scene on how my player character was feeling about that. Said he was feeling a little tired yesterday, which I figured kind of stood to reason because we've been going to Tartarus a lot the last few nights. I'm probably not looking to necessarily go there again tonight since we've been doing so much. Don't want to burn out too much before the big weekend especially. Kind of got to get a few breaks in there. Do something else, see what the rest of the team is up to. Maybe somebody wants to do something fun around the dorm here. Social links, too. There are a couple evening options between President Tanaka and Mutatsu-san. Kind of like to catch up with one of them sooner than later. I guess we'll talk to people here, head up to the room, and make a more proper plan from there. So, hi, how was your day? The others aren't back yet. Kirijo-senpai said they'd be here by midnight. Maybe we shouldn't go to Tartarus today. That actually works well for my schedule, too. I don't know where they are, but that's not really for me to know. If I was supposed to know, they'd have let me know. Looks like everybody's got something new to talk about. Kind of nice to see them all doing their own thing, too. Gaming, research on the laptop. I think Hikari might be on her phone. Igus is doing Igus stuff. Analyzing the information about the dorm, probably. We're talking about dorm regulations this past week, so maybe she's committing all of those to memory. But just to kind of see everybody taking this time now, because the last 3 nights we've been going to Tartarus. So I bet they're all ready for a break just as much as I feel I am. Between late nights at Tartarus and all-day track practices, doing something a little less strenuous this evening, and maybe the next couple nights would be better to just kind of build that recovery side of things into the activity. As much as I was talking about that with Akihiko when he was recovering at the end of April, and the whole thing with Miyamoto and his leg bothering him, it'd be interesting to see how that storyline gets back once we're able to do more of those interactions. But so much of that dealt with talking about the importance of recovery that I kind of need to practice what I preach. So tonight's probably the night for some recovery. No social link messages, just ads. Limited menu today from Hagakure Ramen. Today is our special menu day. We only have limited quantities, so get yours before they run out. First come, first served. Our tender pork is a friend of beautiful skin. Make yourself shine by eating at Hagakure. Game Parade. Games. Come and play our popular crane game and try to win a prize. Then stick around and hop into one of our many immersive video games. There's great fun to be had, whether you're alone or with friends. We can't wait to see you. And a part-time position at Chagall. We hope everyone is having a great day. Chagall is looking for someone to work at the cafe today. Students may apply, no experience required. This is a paid position, and perks include free pheromone coffee. We look forward to meeting you. Alright, some good options there. I believe today is the day that they cleaned out the refrigerator, so I might be able to get that lukewarm taiyaki put in the freezer. I'm going to go try that while I'm thinking about it. We just planted some new plants the other day, so those won't be ready for probably, 9 days now? It was going to be sometime in, the first week of August, which felt so weird to talk about. There's a bit of space. Come to think of it, I have a lukewarm taiyaki. Should I chill it in the fridge? Definitely. Should be ready tomorrow or later. We don't specifically need it for anything. We did manage to deliver one to Elizabeth to fulfill her request earlier in the month. But I was able to buy another one, and it seemed like a pretty decent healing item, so there was no reason not to get another one as soon as I could. We're not going to be able to get too many of these if I can only put one of these in a month. But we'll get more if I put one in than if I don't. So yeah, I'm thinking of talking to everybody, of course, first, seeing just what's going on. We're not doing Tartarus tonight. So, social skills-wise, I'm looking at Courage is probably the next one I wanted to look at. I'm level 4 across the board, smooth, tough, and smart. Nice to see. Really, I don't have a set need to do any one over the other because there's 3 different interactions that are all dependent on social skills. If I can work on my charm, it seems like I'll be able to spend some time with Yukari after school. If I can work on my courage, it'll allow me to interact with Fuka. And somewhere down the road, it sounds like academics will contribute towards spending some time with Mitsuru, if the couple students talking about that sort of thing were to be believed. I talked to Fuka, and the game told me I do need more courage, and I talked to Yukari, and it said I needed more charm, so there's a good chance academics will play into spending time with Mitsuru. So really anything I do is going to be good progress, but it helps to kind of have a goal as well. So of the 3, right now, courage was my goal. And social links, of course. But all that to say, we can maybe take a look around town, stop a couple places. I do want to stop by the antique place since I found some things to exchange, so maybe we can get some new weapons for people. But other than that, I might look to do something that related to courage tonight. We'll see. Yukari, how was the day?
Hey,
It's hard to describe how. But have you noticed that Sonata Senpai acts a little different around Amada-kun? We have noticed that. We talked about that a little bit the other day. He seems a little bit more reserved, not quite his same level of confident self. He really seemed to be taken aback when he saw Amada as Chairman Ikusuke was coming to the high school with him. We weren't quite sure what to make of that, but I noticed that. We talked about that. And of course, Yukari noticed it as well. She really does seem to have that good empathetic side of her to see that in other people. So I expected she would mention something like that in a good way. Yeah, we have sort of noticed that. I wonder why. Maybe he doesn't get along with kids? Well, I can't think that's probably the case. It could just be some level of general nerves or anxiety. I mean, we saw on Yakushima when Junpei and I were trying to pick up girls and just how poorly we all did there. He always seems like such a confident person, but certain situations, like anybody, are harder than others, so maybe something about just that social challenge side of it. Hard to say yet. He does seem a bit socially awkward. Well, she's not pulling any punches there. Not that that's meant to be an insult either. It's just an observation. I'm sure that same observation could be pointed my way. I guess. What are you learning here? The bulletin board.
excuse me.
I want you to be aware of my strengths and weaknesses. I am weak against electric attacks, but second to none when it comes to gun attacks. I will riddle any kind of enemy with bullet holes. All right. I really do appreciate people coming to me like that and say, okay, here's what I'm good at. Here's where I lack some skill. Just kind of, knowing the different party members and how they fit in different situations. As the one who's leading them, it really falls to me to make proper use of them, not put them in harm's way, to utilize them in the things that they're good at. So just having that all on the table now, it's not a surprise later. It's like, oh yes, by the way, electricity really hurts me. I probably should have said something before the fight happened, but so yeah, I thank you, Agus, for helping me out there. Ignorance isn't really a good excuse, but I really don't have that excuse now that she specifically told me. And hopefully it doesn't become a problem now because I know and I can plan accordingly. Let's see what's on TV. There's been a slight change of plans. Today we'll tell you about the apathy syndrome cases. It's a very mysterious illness that affects those with unstable minds or psychological problems. Its victims can only groan, and they don't eat or talk normally. Researchers still don't know what causes it, but we do know that people can recover from it. That's true. After certain full moon encounters, we've seen the cases go back to normal. The line about them not being able to eat, though, that kind of stands out to me because we've been seeing apathy syndrome sufferers now since before last weekend. So if some of those people haven't been eating in that amount of time, that can't be good. That's definitely problematic. Junpei, how's the game going? Amada really respects Sonata-san. I totally understand how he feels. Dude, Sonata-san won 16 boxing matches straight. If I look up to the guy, the kids must think he's an actual hero, I totally, yeah, definitely. I mean, that's an amazing accomplishment, and that's something we worked for too. So he isn't just that mythical figure on a pedestal, but at the same time, as far as a kid's concerned, he can do it all. Even from the casual observer outside looking in, even though I know he put the time and the effort in the training, it's still super impressive to see. So yeah, I totally agree. Hey, you think we got what it takes to be heroes? Seems impossible. No, I think anybody can, depending on what you do, how you conduct yourself, how you address situations. The things you're good at, you prioritize that. You try to be confident. I mean, there's all sorts of easy to say, hard to do sorts of things, but yeah, I think as long as you're the thing someone wants to aspire to, I think that's kind of what the hero idea is. Whether that's some grand thing or something that you don't even see as grand yourself. It could just be some everyday thing you do. If you do it well, and if it's something that other people want to see in themselves, then I think anybody can embody that hero idea. Right, Fuka? As I said earlier, we shouldn't go to Tartarus today. I know you want to go because there's going to be a full moon soon, but it'd be better not to. I actually do agree. Full moon or not, we did really well the last 3 nights, so I think we've all earned a break. We've got 1 week from tomorrow, it looks like, so it's good to be here before we know it. But thankfully, we're at this point where I don't feel like we are racing against the clock anymore. We've done what we need to now. There'll still be more to do in the next week, but it's not as critical as needing to get there every single night between now and then. I mean, like I said yesterday, if the full moon happened tomorrow, it might be a challenge, but I think we could rise to it. Given the levels we're at right now, the personas I have, the equipment we have, and just all of those necessary things to address the situation. If you'd asked me that a week ago, I definitely wouldn't have felt so confident. So we've done well the last 3 days. I did not see Amada-kun anywhere. Let's see if maybe he's upstairs. I have a tendency to run right by people on the stairs here. Actually, he's got... Yeah, this is... Okay, Amada seems to be in his room, but he isn't responding. Fair enough. Well, let's stop in here, get cleaned up. Think about those tomatoes I'm growing on the roof, probably. We just harvested some the other day, but I planted more in their place. 8-7. That'll be here before we know it. It's so wild to think we're closing on the end of another month. It's been really cool, this playthrough, too, because this has been happening on a daily pace, as the name of the series, Persona a Day, goes. But we started back on April 6th. It is now July 29th, and this has been literally a daily pace. It's really July 29th today. It was really April 6th when the series started. It's been so fun seeing the world unfold at that real pace. I've always kind of wanted to do a series like this because of the way the calendar is set up, and it's been everything I've wanted it to be so far. I hope you're having fun with it, too. Let's stop at the station mall first. I don't see myself interacting with... Well, I can't say that for sure, but... Actually, you're right. You're right. I'm right. Somebody's right. I was going to say, we might double back for social interactions, but there isn't any social interaction tonight, it looks like, so... Why not start at the mall? Maybe we can head back to the station strip mall there and get some dinner or something. Makes me think, too, I never did stop and see what everybody else did. Let's find a place that doesn't have apathy syndrome people around. How about front of this bench here? So, no social links, no Tartarus. Means everybody went daily life. A lot of good variety. Say nothing especially jumps out at me. We'll see what games are at the arcade maybe too. That could be kind of fun. Maybe karaoke or Wild Duck Burger. I think Wild Duck Burger would work for my courage. It'd be a good meal. It was too busy the last time we tried to go, but I do see some people manage to go tonight. I will stop by the Net Cafe as well and see if maybe by some chance they've got some new software in. Same with Club Escapade over here. We're already here. Let's pop in there. See anybody with anything new to say? No, Tatsu-san. I'll stop by the URL dealer in the back there, though, and just see. Probably doesn't have anything new for me, but he did earlier in the last couple weeks.
Go have a look for yourself.
So let's just make sure. Nothing else, though.
It's been a pleasure.
And I'm okay with that. It's just nice to know that I'm caught up on everything they have to offer so that I'm not surprised later. It's like, oh, I could have learned this or that weeks ago and I didn't look. Got a few things to sell, Officer Kurosawa. Maybe, actually. I didn't really do that many small party fights, so I might not have found too many little bits and pieces to sell.
What do you got?
Wow, yeah, not very much at all. But most all of our fights last night were more of the mini-boss kind of thing. They all took a little bit longer, they required a lot more thought, but we overcame them. Herculean Strike, there was one enemy that was buffed to the moon with attack and critical hits, and that was so close to doing us in. But thankfully, we held on by the skin of our teeth.
Wanna sell in bulk?
3,000, yeah, kind of a smaller payday, but I'll still take it.
All right, I'll take that. All done here?
I am,
Be
yes.
seeing you.
Get our game saved today, too. It's been a little while. Shouldn't have any new requests from Elizabeth.
Good day.
I think we only had 2 left, if I remember correctly. We have the chance to go out with her. She wants to see Naganaki Shrine, but that'll have to be during the afternoon, which hasn't really worked out this week because of track practice.
Here are my requests.
Yep, just the shrine and fusing a new persona that knows Agilao.
Very well then.
We'll also stop in here and say hi to Igor. I updated my compendium last night, so there's nothing I need to do there. I don't think. Maybe while we're here, I'll take a look and just make sure.
Welcome to the Velvet Room.
I should be good, though, but I'd rather check that now.
Registering, I see.
Yep, these were all ones I've got better versions registered already.
Are you finished?
So, Igor, Elizabeth, thank you for everything. I like the balance of personas I have. I thank you for your help, and I feel like we're making great progress. So I'll continue to rely on you and hope you have a good day.
We look forward to your next visit.
Just enough to stop in and see them, keep them part of our playthrough so that they're not just a place we only go when we need them. Well, that's what I've been saying that the whole series. With all of these stops I make around the mall here, it's just so much fun to see them as people and not just shop menus. Might spend a little more time in the antique store looking through there, so maybe we'll stop in and say hi to the pharmacist first, since I'm not looking to do any shopping here.
Right.
He's got that famous detoxifier. But pharmacist, I just wanted to say hi. I've been a little busier with track practice this week, but I wanted to just come in and say thank you as always for everything, and I will see you again tomorrow, hopefully.
Done already?
I am.
Come again, yeah?
All right, so antique store. Well, let's also see what sort of games are Game Parade. Maybe Edgar's House of... Oh, you're the answer. Oh, I do. Wow, Edgar's House of Fortunes actually is. That wasn't the one I was thinking I needed, but... Yeah, if I were looking at academics right now, I'd be pretty happy with that, but since I'm looking at courage mainly, it always kind of figures that, the game I'm looking for, somebody's on it or whatever, it's not available. But like I also said, I need progress on anything, so if I spent the night doing an
That reminds me.
doing an academic thing, that would just be a great night too. So shopkeeper, I've got some new materials here.
Which one?
I've got a black sword, 2 blades, a cloth, that's the big one, and a couple ore. We looked at the ore the other day, and the accessories that we can make, none of them really jumped out at me as especially necessary.
So,
And there's nothing new here, so
what would you like?
potentially another plate mail. I mean, that's a lot of malachite, but we've got one of those for Yukari. It resists dizzy, and it's a huge jump in defense. It's 122 for these army vests we've got, up to 140 for the plate mail.
There's a fan around here somewhere. Oh, found it. It's hard to keep track of where things are when you have so much stuff.
And we could look at these leg protectors as well. They're not as big a jump. I mean, endurance plus 3 is nice. And it would be 7 more points of evasion on top of that. But I'm thinking by that same token, the defense is better. We might dodge something, but we'll definitely get hit by things. So if we can have more defense to absorb that damage, that would just be better. And we've only got 1 of these Nile cloths, so we can only make 1 thing tonight. But just getting somebody else that little bit of extra defense.
Against the shadows. Give them a go, will you?
See, the only people wearing army vests are myself, Akihiko, and Mitsuru. I've said before, it sounds a little selfish to take good materials for myself, but if I go down, the fight is over, so there's some vested interest in staying on my feet so we don't game over. So, yeah, I might make another copy of the plate mail and, as the party leader, stay on my feet so that I can try to coordinate the rest of the team. Heavy armor that can withstand devastating blows. I gave one to Yukari. And I guess since I kind of take that secondary healer role, there is some logic there about being on my feet so that I can revive or heal people.
Oh, I see you've decided.
So yes, let's take one more plate mail, please.
Here, it's all yours. What would you like?
Nothing really probably right now to make with his black sword. I'm not sure if other options will be unlocked later as we get access to new gems, but I mean, I've already got the nameless blade, and I think I'm using something better than that now, aren't I? Yes. Significantly better.
The more I study, so what will it be?
Let's see. We figured that these mitts or blades or whatever, fusion gloves suited for following up on previous attacks. They're nice, but they're not that much of a jump from the Jack's gloves. They are slightly more accurate.
Man around here somewhere. Oh,
You know,
found
the
it.
Claymore is actually
It's
worse
hard
than
to
the
keep track of
Zanbato.
where things are when you have so much stuff.
Yeah, the higher critical hit here is nice, but the lower accuracy is kind of an interesting trade-off there. So that's actually a bit of a challenge. Yeah, technically, as much as I disparage these gloves, maybe they aren't bad. I mean, additional damage on a downed enemy. We don't have a lot of downed enemies that don't really lead to all-out attacks, but... yeah. Maybe? Again, you have kind of the same deal with the Black Sword. Maybe we'll hold on to these Nile Blades as well and see if something else comes of that. Nothing says we have to spend them today. So yeah, maybe, I've got this knowledge now. So
Everything good?
we can think about it for a while and come back another night. So thank you, shopkeeper. I appreciate you showing me your wares and letting me see what you're able to craft. I'll plan to come back in the future and try to take advantage of it.
Hope to see you soon.
All right, so that was a nice visit to the mall here. We've already talked to this apathy syndrome sufferer, so again, I won't make you deal with that again, but we are definitely seeing more of them around. You can see this person here. So they more signs that the full moon is getting closer. The game does so much with showing things without specifically saying them. It's really been cool to see. I mean, there are times it does reference it as well, like the news report talking about it, but it kind of just makes us that much more conscious of seeing it then, too. Doesn't look like anybody's got anything new they want to talk about. Just seeing more of those apathy syndrome people around. I was going to head upstairs, though, and stop by the Net Cafe and just make sure that I'm still current on everything they have for offer. And then maybe Wild Duck Burger down on the first floor would be a good place to end our night. Still all sold out. Kind of mix it up and go down the other stairs over here. Another side of working on courage, potentially. I mean, it's been a busy time at Tartarus. Shadows are getting stronger during the dark hour in general, for especially those full moons. So just having that bit more courage is probably going to help us stand up to whatever enemies in our way. Courage can be that fine line between courage and reckless overconfidence, but I like to think that as courage develops, you kind of learn that boundary a bit more, and you understand where it's right to push and where it's smarter to not be in the way. You can overcome some enemies, but you're not going to stop that truck if it's coming at you, so no matter how courageous you are, the truck still wins. But you don't want to give up on other things too preemptively and say, oh, this is going to be hard, let's quit before trying. So hopefully things like learning courage there are more than just the approaching things side of thing. It's the understanding of where that fine line is. A lot of weird preamble to talk about before going and getting a burger, but that's kind of why I'm thinking about how courage could be. It looks pretty crowded in there again. Maybe that's just me. Okay, yeah, the mystery burger does give me courage. Okay, and I guess it's not as crowded as it looks. What do we think? Burger sound good to you guys? I think it's got some potential. Yeah, I mean, there were no social links to work on, although we're looking really good there too. It's been a good blending and balance across the board of progress. The Hermit here especially, rank 9 already. A lot of these we can't do anything with until school starts back up. Let's take a look and see what might be able to be worked on this summer. I don't think I'll be seeing Kenji around since we see him at school. Student council the same. The old couple, we've got a few more ranks to go for them. It'd be nice to catch up with them again. Track team, I'm not sure if we'll actually make any progress as a result of this meet, but other than that, I don't see us working on that. Probably the same with Chihiro. Again, we only saw her at school. Her schedule might change over the summer as well. Online game, hopefully we'll definitely have a chance for that on these couple Sundays. Art club, not so much. Yuko, maybe? Again, we met her at school, so maybe that's her only starting point. Maiko, definitely. We've seen her around Naganaki Shrine, and we did see her on Saturday or Sunday? One of those days, she was out. It was nice to see her there. Didn't spend time with her, but we saw that she was available. Pharos, mysterious boy, he comes whenever he wants. Actually, we might see him sooner than later because there's about that week until the full moon. He usually seems to stop a week ahead of time and remind us about it. Bebe Fashion Club, school. Devil and Tower. Both evening activities, both things I want to get back to. Especially President Tanaka. See, we're only ranked 1 there, so there's a lot of time to go there. But the same with Mutatsu-san. We got to rank 3 in the span of like 4 days, and then we haven't really seen him since. But now that I've got a Devil persona and a Tower persona, we'll just be making that much more progress with them. And the Gourmet King, too. We saw him around the other day in front of the fountain, so hopefully we can spend some time with him this summer. So we're not totally out of social options, but it's a bit more focused over the next few weeks. But that'll be a good chance to try to really dig in and make that progress with them now, so that once we get back to the normal routine, we can just kind of focus on the ones that are available and not need to worry about the other ones from the summer side. Not that I see any of these as worry, really, but just like that, again, balancing time out. Spending it properly with everybody. Being a good friend and learning all the things I can about them. Advancing their storylines, all that important stuff. I don't want to let all their cold air out, so let's save the game here. Let's get some dinner. It sounds like a good way to end the day. It's Wednesday. We've been doing some good solid track practice for the last 3 days. The last 3 nights we've been spending in Tartarus. So let's just, go in, get a good meal, enjoy whatever the mystery burger is, get back home, go to bed at a reasonable hour. None of this midnight or whatever time it becomes. Time doesn't actually pass during the dark hour, but if it starts at midnight, it technically ends at midnight. So it's still a pretty late time to be leaving the school and getting back to the dorm and getting to bed. Kind of reminds me of some of those nights, where you're working in the evening and you don't get out of work until 10 o'clock at night. It's kind of hard to go home and just go right to bed. There's always that little bit of, the mind is still going on things. So unless you're really tired, your head hits the pillow and you're just out. But it's always just kind of nice to have that little bit of a breather. But it's it makes for a late night if you're doing that every night and then still getting up early and going to things like track practice here. So nice dinner, early bed, recovery time. Wild Duck Burger. I know I saved it. I know I did, but now I'm really sure. All right, Wild Duck Burger, spend the night, eat at Wild Duck Burger. Mystery Burger, mysterious food with unknown ingredients, raise courage. Been a while since we've been able to be in here, so it's kind of nice. I had that big eater challenge, was able to overcome after 3 weeks of attempts. This should be nothing after all that. And just kind of a different bit of food as well. We had a lot of the Prodigy platter upstairs at Wakatsu. The Hagakure, the ramen place upstairs, we did some of that. But nice to just kind of mix it up here. Maybe it'll give me something else to talk about with Suimitsu, the Gourmet King, next time we talk as well, about this week's mystery burger I had. I decided to try the new burger. And actually talking about it as this week's mystery burger, I do kind of wonder, is this some promotion that they do every week? Is every week a slightly different burger? Kind of that burger of the week idea. This week's mystery burger is a cheeseburger with peanut butter on it or something. I don't know. Could be anything really, but that would be an interesting way to kind of, I guess it's kind of the idea of the meal of the day sort of thing, but on a weekly basis. But there's also that challenge of something good coming up. It's like, oh yeah, that was our special last week. We don't have that anymore. You kind of do alienate some of the potential customers at that point. But if it supplements an already strong menu, there's that going for it as well. Sounds like the kind of place that would take those kind of fun gambles. The kind that runs that Big Eater Challenge on the weekend would kind of lean into the atypical side of things to make their restaurant stand out from the more traditional ones. This burger had a strange texture, but it tasted surprisingly good. Texture can be so important on a good meal, but taste is also important. Either one lacking in an extreme is going to make for a lesser meal, but good taste is really, I think, probably the most important thing on something you're eating. I'm not sure that's really a big revelation. That kind of is like, obvious, but I seriously believe that. Nice bit of courage progress, though I'm happy to make some social skill progress in general. It's been a little while since I've been focusing more on social links or Tartarus especially, but not seeing as much social stat growth in a while. Having a night to get back to do that is another good side of that recovery side of things. It is kind of just getting back to that lower pressure earlier in the run routine. We've still got a long ways to go. We're filling these circles up, but they're not full yet. But just taking the time to actually do that now feels good. Kind of doing this tonight too makes it easier to consider social activities later on in the week if President Tanaka or Mutatsu-san are available. I can look back on nights like this and say, well, I did get a good meal. I enjoyed the meal, I gained some courage, so now I can spend time doing my social links. That sort of thing. So, yeah, I feel good about spending the night here, though. It was a good meal, so let's head back to the dorms, see what we can see during the dark hour here.
Sorry to wake you.
Oh, this is not what I expected, actually. I kind of figured it was going to be that fun irony of having to mention Pharos earlier and then seeing that. So maybe this wasn't an early to bed kind of night.
I'm detecting a shadow.
Oh.
Please come to the 4th floor quickly.
Okay.
What's going on?
There's a shadow in the city. Yamagishi found it unexpectedly.
What? But the moon isn't full yet.
Yeah, this is so unusual. Shadows don't seem to end up outside of Tartarus, except on the full moon. I really was not expecting any of this. For all that talk about, saying earlier, if the full moon was tonight, I'd be ready for it. Now I'm starting to second guess myself. I mean, I really did not remember anything like this was happening tonight, so I guess this feels like that chance to put my money where my mouth is. Like, how confident did you say you were feeling? I guess we'll see.
It seems to be just a regular shadow.
Oh, still not good. I mean, it's still when things they display those atypical behaviors. There has to be a reason for it. Something has changed. Something is different. If we weren't seeing this before, but now we are. What, why, how, all that important questions. I guess those are all kind of secondary to what is the danger to this? What can we do to keep everybody safe?
But there usually isn't any normal shadow activity outside of Tartarus.
Exactly.
It's near Naganaki Shrine. Akihiko was already in the area, so he went ahead. I'm sure he can handle it alone, but we should be ready just in case.
Absolutely.
Gotcha.
Yes, this is Yamagishi.
Oh, Anya, thank you very much for the follow. I really appreciate it.
I'm here. Sorry, but I think you guys better come quick.
Oh. Kind of surprising for Akihiko to give us a call like that. I mean, I don't doubt his ability to handle things, and I don't doubt his judgment either, so if he's calling for backup, absolutely we're going to go, but for him to not want to just handle it himself, for him to call us, that too is unusual. But he also does seem like he's more about interacting with the team and seeing the strength and bonds we talked about the other day, so maybe this is that side of fighting smart.
What's wrong? Are you in trouble?
Yeah.
No. The Shadow's been defeated.
Oh. Well, this has been one unexpected after another. Normal people, as far as we're aware, aren't able to defeat shadows. And Akihiko didn't say, I defeated the shadow. He says the shadow's been defeated. Somebody else defeated the shadow.
Or rather, it was already defeated when I got here.
What happened?
This little fella took a hit for me. I want to save him if we can.
Took a hit? Who's he talking about?
Don't ask me.
At any rate, let's move out.
Absolutely. Oh no.
Koro-chan! Are you okay, Koro-chan?
We've got to save Koromaru.
You know this dog?
Of course we know this dog. Doesn't everybody know this dog?
Yeah, everyone around here does. We've got to help him, quick!
Exactly. Spare no expense. Do whatever we need to do.
First, we need to stop the bleeding.
Okay.
Man, he's one tough fighter. He defeated that shadow all by himself.
That's amazing.
Wait, does that mean this dog's a persona user?
That's an interesting concept. Especially seeing Igus here. That reminds me of talking with Chairman Akutski not that long ago, and we'd asked him about the anti-shadow weapons like Igus and why they were designed to look like people. He said that they couldn't be designed to look like other things because a persona is the product of a human mind, and if the mind and body or mind and form aren't in sync, then the ability to use a persona isn't there either. But Koromaru there's obviously not a person, yet he seems to have a persona if this theory holds true, so maybe that'll cause us to re-examine what we know about how personas work.
He says, this is a place of peace, so I protected it.
I love the thought that Igus is translating for Koromaru here. Just one of the many things that we didn't know Igus could do. And I like Koromaru's approach here. It's like, this is a place of peace, so I protected it. I did what I had to do.
There are flowers over there.
I noticed that when we approached. Yeah, over by Akihiko.
Those flowers. They must be for the priest who died in the accident here.
So he really was guarding this place.
Okay, hold on. Igus, don't tell me you can translate dog language too.
Another one of those instances where Junpei and I are on that same wavelength.
Canines do not have their own language. However, speech is not the only means of communication.
I like how she corrected him, but also basically said yes. It's like, no, of course I don't speak dog. Dog isn't a language, but they do communicate, and I know how to communicate with them.
This fellow really is a rare breed.
Correct.
That's all well and good, but what are we doing to fix the situation here? I've got healing abilities. Would that help? It helps in Tartarus.
He's not the only one.
All right, let's report to the chairman so we can conclude this mission. As for Yvette, it's midnight, but I think I can arrange something.
Thank you, Mitsuru. I mean, she is so reliable. I mean, she takes it and steps in anything. It's not like, oh, this is going to be such a hassle. I can't believe I have to do this at midnight. She doesn't seem to let it bother her. I'm sure that it would be hard to be relied on as much as she is and to have all the different tasks that she has to take the lead on, but she does such a good job instilling that confidence and that support that, we can count on her for that sort of thing. Makes me want to try to do better as well, just because of the example she sets.
Good job, boy. You're one amazing dog.
That's right. All right. Well, how's that for the end of a day? If that doesn't feel like a cliffhanger, I don't know what does, but thankfully it felt like the good kind of cliffhanger. Let's head back to the desk, though, and talk a bit more about the day. Okay, so here we are. That was the end of Wednesday, July 29th. It was another really good day. For a day that seemed like it was going to be a little less full of activity than some of the other ones, it still felt busy enough, considering. During the day, we had the track practice that we've been doing all week. And just as much as the last few, it felt really good to spend that time with the team, really working together for a shared goal to show what our team is capable of come this weekend. I hope we can all do our best there, and this training is just only going to help us. It took us to the evening time, and I'd already kind of planned to not look at Tartarus since we were there for the last 3 nights, but it sounded like other people were of the same mindset. Akihiko and Mitsuru were out, so we weren't planning to go in the first place, which kind of opened my evening up for a bit more relaxation. We've been so busy recently that I didn't want to burn out constantly, being active and on the move the whole time. Between Tartarus and track practice, I've really just been on the go since Sunday. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, there are times where that just does happen in life. That is life. But in those times, it is nice to have that little bit of an oasis of relaxation mixed in there. So that's kind of what I was looking at for tonight. I headed out and just went to all the various places. Stopped by Club Escapade, the Net Cafe, the antique store. Kind of looked around there since I found some materials in Tartarus. Didn't end up making or exchanging anything, but just kind of, stopping those different places, seeing the sights, stop by the arcade to see what games we're playing, and then ended up wanting to get dinner. It just felt like a nice, easy thing to do. I wanted to work on my courage as well, so Wild Duck was the great place to go for that. They had their mystery burger. Said it had a weird texture, but a good taste, so I'm happy to have that. But just to go somewhere, it looked busy, but, somewhere I know with food I like, and just not have to worry about fighting things or doing anything like that. It worked on my courage. I was just able to just kind of take that breath. And I had every intention of getting back home, getting to bed early, and getting a full night of sleep. But again, life being life, it decided to wake me up at the start of the dark hour, or thereabouts, with a bit of an alarm, with Fuka saying, there's a shadow outside of Tartarus. Everybody needs to assemble. So, of course, yeah. We're all instantly wide awake and headed for the command room. And we get up there, and Akihiko went out to meet it first, since he was near the area. It was at Naganaki Shrine. And he radioed back and said that he needs us all to come, which really stood out to me because Akihiko is definitely strong and capable, so if there was something that was pushing him to call for reinforcements, that sounded dubious. We all talked about that as well. It's not the full moon yet. We still have about a week. I had that fear that I was getting too complacent and thinking, oh, it's not going to be for another week. We've got time. This would be the perfect chance for the shadows to surprise us. It's like, you think this is a pattern, but turns out it isn't. That would totally have caught me unaware. I was good and concerned about that tonight. So when Akihiko called us all over, Mitsuru was of course concerned and said, what's wrong? What happened? And he said that when he got there, the shadow had already been defeated. He wasn't the one to have taken it down. It was just a normal shadow, but something or someone else had defeated it, and in the process, they'd taken a hit, so he needed some help. And so we got there, and who do we see but Koromaru? Unfortunately, on the ground, not looking too great. Instantly concerned. A lot of us know him. Yukari Fuka and I spent some time with him a few weeks ago. He let me pet him, and that was so cool. But seeing him in a bad state like that was rough. But I guess was able to translate his communications and say that he was just there protecting the shrine. Said this was a place of peace, and I was protecting it. We saw some flowers there that were for the priest that had lost his life in an accident, so Koromaru was just doing his best to be that good dog, defending his master in his home. So that was so cool to see. And really big credit to Mitsuru as well, because she was going to take care of arranging a vet to give all the proper care to Koromaru. So thank you so much to Mitsuru for that. Things really could have gone a lot worse. I'm glad they didn't. There was also that thought that, as far as we're aware, only Persona users can defeat shadows, which raised that question of, could Koromaru be a Persona user? Quite the question. It would kind of force us to change our understanding of what it means to have a persona, I think. But that was where the night wrapped up. The dark hour was coming to a close. Mitsuru was getting Koromaru to a vet, and the rest of us were trying to go home and get back to sleep after all of that intense energy. Not sure how easy it would be to get to sleep at that point, but thankfully things resolved as well as they could. It definitely could have been a lot worse, so I'm glad it wasn't. So we got back to the dorm, got to bed. I really hope we can follow up on that sooner than later to see how Koromaru is doing. Hopefully we can check on him tomorrow there. With that does take us to the end of Wednesday, July 29th. Like I say, it was a busy day, felt like a productive day. And it was a nice bit of time to balance out the things we needed to do with a little bit of relaxation to kind of revitalize myself and the rest of the team. So I want to thank you so much for sharing the day with me. It's always fun to have an audience here. Thank you very much for that. I stream this Persona a Day series live every day at 12:30 Eastern Time. So if ever that works for you, I would love to have you. I also do upload each of my day's playthroughs to my YouTube channel. So if it's easier for you to watch at your own schedule, at your own pace, I totally understand. And I want to have that option out there for you. So let's all just have a great Wednesday. We've made it to that midpoint of the week. Hopefully, just like in game, we're able to mix the things that we need to do with a little bit of fun. Something of a break, some relaxation, and a reward for yourself. It'll just kind of be that little bit of refueling we need to continue on, being productive throughout the week, and getting through the things we need to get to the things we want to do. I'll give my best, and I hope you guys do as well. So I've been Tom Shima. Thank you again. I hope I can see you tomorrow. Until our paths do cross again, I hope you take care. Thank you very much, and goodbye.